just proud to be part of this club here.
Richards on the overlap. Good ball in. Lewandowski! The assist from Chris Richards.
It was so dope. Hi, I'm Chris Richards.
I'm Jamal Musiala.
This is a dream.
In the rondo, I got megged by Hansi Flick. Yeah. Yeah, it hurts a bit. Muy bien.
Beginning of the season, all of us young guys started training with the first team, and the roster was already pretty low. So we figured, if we do well in training, that hopefully we'll get our shot. And then it was the Schalke game, or no, was it last year Freiburg? Yeah.
Yeah,
last year Freiburg. So we were all excited because we'd already won the title. So we figured, if the score is a decent one, that hopefully us young guys will get in. And then when our name was called, it was something unforgettable.
They sent us out to warm up, and then it was just a bit nerve-wracking to just be like on the pitch with all the players. It's just a great feeling. I wasn't really that nervous. I was just excited to be part of the team. Yeah.
I was pretty nervous because as a defender, if you make a mistake back there, then it could lead to a goal. But I just knew that if I went and played my game, that there was nothing to be nervous about.
Kind of a dream come true, because you think about making your debut for since you were little, and then just to be able the minutes before you come in or the seconds, it's just oh, you finally gonna be on the pitch with all these great players. It's just a great feeling.
Yeah, I'd have to second that. There's players who've won World Cups, who've won Champions Leagues, who have won everything you can win in football, and just being able to share the field with them, guys that you just growing up watching and idolizing, and now you get to share the field with them, was a really amazing accomplishment. It was crazy because kids that kids I grew up playing with, they were texting me who I maybe haven't heard from in 5 years, and it was yo, it's so crazy seeing that you actually chase your dreams, and you gave an assist to the best striker in the world. How's that feel? I'm like, dude, it's an amazing feeling. I don't know how to compare it to anything else, but it's really amazing seeing all the love from back home, whether it's family or friends or even old teachers or classmates. It's a really amazing feeling.
I was just so happy after. Oh my God, I don't think anything could bring me down. I was just really at the top with happiness, and then people from my old school in England and friends I haven't yet, same with Chris, just haven't spoke to from long, just saying, oh, I saw that you scored. It's just an amazing feeling.
No, I feel amazing. There's been many great players who have played for this club, and being able to make history by being the first American to start for Bayern Munich, who's arguably one of the biggest and most traditional clubs in Europe, and it's a really big thing for me and for my family because where I come from, not many people play football, and so being able to have this accomplishment coming from the small area, which I did, it's really amazing for me.
I think 433 followed me. That was just really, because I've been following 433 for a long time, and that to happen was just like a shock, because I wasn't expecting that to happen for a long time. So I was just really happy when I saw that.
Bleacher Report definitely followed me, or at least I think so. But I think last year after I made my debut, the first person to follow me was Manu Neuer, and I was like, this is the best goalie in the world, and just followed me. It was so dope. But no, I think after this year, Bleacher Report is probably the biggest one. So this Chris Richards, 20-year-old defender from Birmingham, Alabama, makes first start for defending champions Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga. We used to celebrate Americans playing against these powerhouse teams. Now they're lining up in the starting 11. My home city, it's all about American football there, and we've produced a lot of really great American football teams or football players, and now being able to show the world that we are more than just American football city and state. I think it puts an extra chip on my shoulder because I could have ended up being a basketball player, a football player, anything else, but me choosing to play soccer, I think is something that I really want to help start back home in my home, for more people to start seeing soccer as a sport just as high as American football and basketball.
Yeah, it's just an honor kind of to be in the same page with all these great players, and it's just find such a big, like a really big club and one of the biggest clubs in the world, and to be the youngest goal scorer for Bayern is really an honor, and I'm just proud to be part of this club here.
Oh yeah, I remember my mom sending me the picture, and you know, she was like, you know, this is you in a soccer magazine that's being produced all around the world. Actually, I think she texted me like almost crying, like she was, because ever since I was a little kid, you know, when I first picked up a soccer ball, the first thing I want to do is be a pro soccer player, like nothing else. Probably off to Thomas Müller instead.
Got inside and scored.
Did
Yeah.
Thomas Müller say anything? He's like, hey,
Yeah.
really?
No, he was like, oh, did you see like the pass? And I was like, yeah. Because I could have played it, but I thought I saw space to go inside and I just took my opportunity, yeah.
So you saw the pass?
Yeah, I saw the pass. I saw the pass. It was 50-50, it was 50-50.
I mean, I think growing up watching Bundesliga, you realize that Dortmund and Bayern is arguably the biggest, or one of the biggest rivalries that they have. And then both of us have a friend on the Dortmund squad that, you know, of course we'd always like to beat because we get bragging rights. And I mean, it just goes beyond just us having friends. You know, there's a tradition behind it, and you never want to lose, but especially not to a team like Dortmund.
I even watched a game a couple of years ago, went to the stadium, watched the Bayern Dortmund game, and with fans was there. It was just like the vibe and everything was just really intense, and it was always who wants to win, and it was always a great game. So I'm just excited for it, yeah. I used to live in Germany, so I was born in Stuttgart and then lived 7 years in Germany, then I moved with 7 and a bit to England and then lived there for 8 years. And then when I moved back here, it was, at the start it was a bit hard because it was different to what I was used to in England, but after I'd say a couple months, got used to it and settled in pretty well.
It was a big difference for me, you know. Of course, I didn't speak German, so that was already a tough one for me. But you know, I was living at campus for the first year, and I went from living by myself in Dallas to living with, you know, 30 other kids who I had to see every day and who I had to interact with, even though most of them didn't speak English. And so it was, for me at the beginning, it was really hard, and then, you know, I realized that once I get performances going on the field, that off the field stuff would just become easier. And so I was just really focused on, you know, giving 100% on the field. But it was a really big transition at first. Oof, that's a good German word.
A good German word.
Yeah. Kühlschrank.
Kühlschrank.
Yeah, that one's fun to say. That's probably my favorite German word. Like, if someone's like, where's some weird German words, that'd probably be one of them.
Oof. For me, I have friends from, so as soon as I came to England, for those 8 years, I've like really close friends. It's probably the only thing I would say, but other than that, I'm very happy here.
I'd probably say besides like friends and family, it'll probably be the food. I love places like Chick-fil-A, and like those are just, Chick-fil-A is probably my favorite place to eat back home. So if I could bring home a bag, like if I could bring a bag over here, it'd just be full of chicken sandwiches from Chick-fil-A. That when you're in the academy, of course, you see those players and you see how successful they are. And then even guys like Joshua Zirkzee last year, how he came on and made a big impact in the season. It kind of gave us hope that, you know, when we get out there and we get our shot, that we can do exactly like he did. And I think it's really, it makes us really hopeful for the future because, you know, of course it's not going to be an overnight process, but if we just keep, you know, going through the ranks and doing what we're supposed to do, both on and off the field, you know, we'll get our opportunity and we can make the most of it.
Yeah, it's just something to look forward to, kind of to follow in the footsteps, kind of, and to slowly build our way up to hopefully get the opportunities like they did and to become one of like Bayern's like big players, like one of like Thomas Muller's or David Alaba's. Yeah.
I think for me it'd be Alaba for sure. You know, when I first came here, he was the one who gave me the nickname Texas, and so you know, just when I first met him, he was really understanding, and you know, he realized that I came from a whole different place, so I kind of had to learn the way of the land, and so you know, even off the field stuff, if I ever needed help with anything, gave me his number so I could contact him, and he's just he's a really nice person, and he's been really good with the younger players because he knows what it takes to go from the academy to the first team.
I didn't really have like one person. Like when I first came, I think everyone made me feel welcome, and I had chats with most players and they all made me feel welcome. Like today, Thomas was giving me tips which will make me better as a player, and I just learn from everyone if they tell me something and take it on board.
I come from the U.S., which the MLS isn't like a well-established league yet, but we have quality players, and so going from, I was thinking that these guys in MLS were like the biggest that they get, and then 2 weeks later, I walk in the locker room and Ian Robinson there cleaning his boots and sitting right next to Thomas Müller. I'm like, wow, this is completely different, and it was really nerve-wracking at first because I just moving away from home, and it was my first 3 days here, I think, and so sitting next to guys like that, I was like, this is a dream. I mean, I have to give 100% and show them what I have.
Yeah, I was just really nervous. I was like, I didn't know what to wear, I didn't know what to say or where to sit. I was just really nervous about everything because I wasn't expecting, or I've never like experienced that, so I didn't know what to do in that situation. I was just sitting in a change room. I think they were all upstairs doing like activation or something. I was just waiting to get out on the pitch, just nervous, yeah.
Oh, I was missing a lot of instructions because of my limited German speaking skills. So at first they were like, I'll just go to the back of the line, and then they'd push me to the front of the line thinking I spoke German, which didn't end up well. I think that's probably the only thing for me.
For me, probably in the Rondo, I got megged by Hansi Flick. Hurts a bit. Yeah.
Okay, jetzt ist gut. Cut.
I'd say the intensity and quality, and like the team togetherness here is like really, like the bond is very strong. At campus the bond's strong, but here everyone's like pushing themselves and everyone else to be even better, which I like a lot.
Yeah, I'd probably say definitely the intensity, because of course these guys are well established and they know what they can bring, and so of course they expect people around them to bring the same. But also, like you said, just the team mentality, how they're pushing each other to be the best. It's because as Bayern, you're expected to be the best. You're supposed to win every trophy every year, and it only comes from holding each other accountable during training and games. I think for me, I just want to be a main part of this team. It doesn't matter to me whether it's starting off on the bench and making my way into the starting 11, but I just want to be a part of this team and be able to hold my own every day.
For me, it's just to keep fit and then just to help this team as much as I can by coming on, or just have a bigger part for the team in the future. I'm just proud to be part of this club here.
Richards on the overlap. Good ball in. Lewandowski! The assist from Chris Richards.
It was so dope. Hi, I'm Chris Richards.
I'm Jamal Musiala.
This is a dream.
In the Rondo, I got megged by Hansi Flick. Yeah. Yeah, it hurts a bit.